Okay, well, it's 5 o'clock PM, so I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is a special meeting. We are going to open with a continued public hearing pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 82, Section 21 and 22. The Select Board will hold a public hearing on March 17th, which we did at 6:30 PM on the proposed road layout of Katy Lane for the petition of Kevin Conniff as prepared by William Hull, PLS dated 2/28/2024. The public is welcome to attend and give comments. Following that, we continued the hearing and sent it back to the planning board for their vote, and now has been returned to the Board of Selectmen for its vote. And our vote would be to lay out the way as designated in the plan. Someone would like to make that motion.
I'll make a motion to lay out the way for Katy Lane.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? There be none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Yeah.
It's 4 in favor, 1 absent. Okay, we have no public comment. And we have no department comment. So the next task is the review and vote to post the 2025 annual town meeting warrant. You said you had a note for us.
Yes, I have one update. So in the original draft that was provided at the last meeting, there was an article, which would have been Article 10, which was in relation to the Mass DOT roadway layout on Main Street and the sidewalk.
Yes.
So we had originally received a grant in order to move forward with some of the pedestrian improvements that were over in that specific area. And unfortunately, there was a water main break and there was an issue with the sidewalk as it was constructed. So the idea was that we were going to look for an easement so that we could make the improvements along that particular area that happened to be on private property over at 292 Main Street. And what ended up happening is after a meeting that we had with Mass DOT last Friday, they had said that they would not accept an easement on their behalf. So therefore, we needed to proceed with trying to get the property appraised and to figure out the value so that we could move forward with the property owner and see if there was something that we could do in order to make sure that we could have that property owner sign the land damage agreement with Mass DOT so that we could move forward and close out the project. So that article, that was Article 10, has been removed from the warrant. And in its place, if you'll look under the free cash allocations, which are Article,
It's at the end almost.
yeah, they're towards the end, my apologies, but they are under Article 36, you'll see that the allocation of $15,000 would be made to fund the pedestrian sidewalk enhancements on Route 113 for fiscal year 2025. And essentially, we have engaged with an appraiser to do the work, and the $15,000 is a very conservative estimate. It's more likely between 8,000 and 10,000, but the reason for being a little cautious is just in case there was a need to go a little higher, we wouldn't want to sell ourselves short and then have to wait until the next town meeting in order to finalize this. So that is the only change that you'll see as from the original document that was shared with you at the last select board meeting.
Article 36, you said, right?
Yes, Article 36, which is the transfer of $779,896 from free
Yeah.
cash to the former.
I see that.
And it's at the very
And
bottom.
I'm looking for a $15,000.
My copy at the bottom has like highlighted.
Yes,
Yes,
mine too.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's the initial draft because I sent that out on
Oh,
Friday.
okay.
And we had the email on Friday, the meeting on Friday, my apologies. So that's where it says the blank
Okay.
part, that
filling it.
blank highlighted would be the $15,000.
Understood.
So the language is all there. It's just the total is different.
Okay.
Because now after talking to the appraiser,
Okay,
that was a conservative estimate. We will have the full report from the appraiser on April 15th. But again, that's after we need to post a warrant. And so I needed to get a number in there so that we could make sure that we had enough funds to move forward as needed. Whatever is not used will fall back to
so
free
you're
cash.
putting a number in there when you post.
Correct. It will be the
Okay.
$15,000.
Okay.
And that will be the total, the 779,896 as a total figure.
Okay, and that's the only total that changes in the warrant. right?
Correct.
Right.
Everything else is the same, and the planning board
Oh.
met earlier this evening, and they voted on the MBTA 3A multifamily zoning district language as well.
Okay. And we have not?
Nope, you have, they had
Yeah,
not
I thought
had
we
an
had.
opportunity to make
Okay.
a recommendation to town meeting.
I had one question on Article 3, the Billis Way.
Mhm.
It reads, am I misreading this? It reads the same as the Katy Lane. Which I thought was kind of a good thing, but I didn't know if something had changed or anything.
So it says that the language is still the same because it says to authorize the select
I know.
board to acquire
Yes.
by gift, purchase, or eminent domain.
Yes,
So the difference is that taking that as an eminent domain as opposed to by acquiring it by gift.
right. Okay, but I mean, the language is the same.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
It's just the mechanism by which take
The
reference.
mechanism that we're gonna have to use, okay, because I thought in the draft that we were looking at. It was just eminent domain. Am I misremembering?
Think so.
That, okay, you think it's always read that way?
Would you?
Okay, I just thought at one point it only said eminent domain, but that might be just because of the way it rolled into us with the neighbor coming in.
Yes.
So that might have been just stuck in my head.
It definitely did say to acquire by gift.
Okay, no, it's fine. I mean, I thought it was kind of good that you can see two
Right.
of the same kind of scenario, two streets that are going to
Mhm.
hopefully be accepted by the town, and this is the way we do it. However, in one case, we have to use the option of eminent domain, unfortunately.
So the town meeting gives the board the authority to move forward with accepting and or
Yes.
taking the property. So it
Right.
gives you the authority to do so. Without town meeting, you do not have the authority.
It allows us to do it, but it also allows us the leeway that if we feel that there's something really not working well, we don't have to.
Exactly.
Okay,
It gives you the authority to do so.
okay, all right. I would be cautionary on that. See where we end up on that one. Okay, other than that, everything is the same.
Can you take a look at Article 8?
Article 8, yep, I'm looking right at it right now.
When I went by the other day, 452, I thought the fence company had number 452 on their door.
Okay.
Is that, but I assume that 452 is supposed to be where the sewerage lift station is.
That's correct.
Can you check, we'll see what the fence company is, if you have that. I thought it said 452 on their door.
Okay. We can definitely verify that.
But maybe they have it wrong. Maybe I read it wrong.
It would be important to note for sure, 100%. I'll take a quick look right now on my map. See if we can figure that out.
We got park offense at 442.
442.
Is that the assessor map?
Google.
We could check the assessor's maps.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Oh, okay, that's easy.
This has it listed at 446-76 Main Street.
On the assessors? Is that-
Parcel ID 24-041. So I will confirm with legal counsel. It looks like if anything, what we can do as well is to ensure that it reflects the correct parcel ID instead of the address. That might give us a little bit more.
Well, what are you showing as the address there?
It just says 446-76 Main Street. And then it does have a parcel ID of 24-041-0. And that is 19.4 acres, and it extends all the way back behind the solar field. So I'll double check with that and make sure that we have the correct address. Thank you very much for catching that.
Which fence company were you looking at, Ed?
That,
Was it Parker or Groveland? Fence.
Parker.
That's
Okay.
Parker Fence too, yeah.
Parker Fence, I had that at 442 Main Street with 1.45 acres.
Yeah. And Groveland fences up the road. That's that. Are there any other articles that? Giving anybody any pause?
I didn't have it.
Kind of know that the finance board or somebody like that, double check the math, make sure the word, the omnibus ends up, the detail stuff, yeah.
I
Just
can,
because you look at it so much, I figured somebody else has to look at it now.
yes, we
Yeah.
have somebody doing the double check,
Oh, good.
dotting the I, crossing the
Always
T,
helpful.
100%. Both town council, the executive coordinator, as well as the town accountant.
Oh, perfect. No, and that's, you need that. You've looked at it too many times.
No, the final read through will be making sure that all of the numbers are, like you said, that they add up, making sure that the formatting makes sense and trying to catch any additional spelling errors or anything of that nature. It's already gone to a couple of reviews, but it will go through one final review before we actually post it. And town council has also reviewed the document twice. They will review it again and they will begin to draft the motions for town meeting. We will also schedule a time to sit down with both the town clerk and the moderator to go through the entire warrant prior to the meeting as well. And I know that Annie and I have started to put together the PowerPoint presentation for town meeting. So making sure we have the actual articles and we'll have the motions up there for everyone to see.
Okay, so I think last year. The town clerk wanted the motions right away.
Yes, the motions are usually drafted by town council and they're included with the warrant and provided to both the moderator and the town clerk.
Right, but why was last year like, just
The
give
specific,
me a bunch of papers and,
the specific request is that if there is any motions that are being made at town meeting, that they must be written down because they become record. And so sometimes when taking the minutes and reciting a motion, you don't catch all of the material. So her insistency was more that we make sure that whoever's making the motion is writing down the motion so that they can hand that into her, so that when she does the minutes for the meeting, she's able to recall the details specifically because the motion is being provided to her.
okay, because last year it was every one of them was like, she wanted every single one. Yep,
Oh, I'm not sure.
yep. And I said, well, I'm writing this all down during the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, we have the motion, so if you're
Right.
reading from the motions that we have, we can definitely provide those to you so that you can just initial and provide documentation if that's required. I'm not
Right.
sure.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, we can digitally write on them if something changes. and provide digital, but to have a pile of paper during the meeting that you're trying to,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
that's not workable because that inhibits my ability to participate in the meeting.
Right.
We'll have to follow up. I don't know.
I've never had someone ask for that before, so I was completely not understanding.
I'd have to check with her. I'm not sure.
You're talking about an amendment.
No, it was every single, because I made every motion. Remember the meeting? I made every motion. And I don't know, I was handed a lot of paper, like, and said, I don't know. It was just like not clear about exactly why wouldn't this be in digital format? If we're not changing anything, why am I signing all these pages all at once? I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me. I never had to do that at any other town meeting. Going all the way back to Dick Abbott's days. I mean, when you get up and make a motion as a person on the floor, yes, I fully understand why that person would be asked to write it down.
Right.
Because what we hear and what they say, who knows, right? And it'd be a good idea for them to write it down, have someone like the clerk read it too, to make sure that what they write down and what they say are the same thing, in fact. So that I understand, that part I totally get, but the front table part, there was a basket put behind me, I was supposed to put them in and shove it down. You know, okay, you weren't there when I got there. There was an orange basket behind me and I was supposed to put pages in it and shoot it down the stage. I can't make this up. I did not dream this. Okay, I'm just saying. So as long as, it sounds like we have a better process, so we don't need to visit the old process. I'd like to know for sure what the expectation is. So at the end of the meeting, there's nobody saying, where's all this stuff? And I'm going, I don't know.
So we'll need to double check with the town clerk, because my understanding again was that we have the motions, they are written for you, so unless as select board member Watson had mentioned, there's an amendment or somebody
Yes.
puts forward a motion, then that must be written down. But as for the others, they are written out, so I'm not sure if you just need to initial them or what have you, but we'll check in with her beforehand so that you have the information. that you need.
Okay, so the motion is gonna be in the warrant? or-
No, it will be in a separate document for you
Okay.
to have.
Okay, and I can have it as digital, so that if anything changes, we can change it on the digital. Cause that's, to me, is straightforward, I can do that, and then that way we don't have to have an orange basket.
Yeah, no, it is digital, and we do have town council that helps
Yes.
draft those, because sometimes the motion has to be a little different in order to make sure that we're meeting all the legal requirements.
Okay, that sounds perfect, I liked that. And we have really lengthy articles. So I'm assuming we're gonna try to dispense with the reading of some of the longest ones.
I would
Typically,
imagine
that's what
so.
we asked for. Okay,
But that will be at the discretion of the moderator.
okay.
I don't see town meeting on the community calendar. Is that town clerk? Or,
I can make sure that it's posted.
okay.
Everything else looks fine in the warrant. So does someone want to make a motion for this warrant as amended on Article 36 for the $15,000
Correct.
and possibly, probably amended on the article for the easement? What article number is that?
And-
Article 8,
Article 8.
Verify the address.
to verify the
Well,
address.
I think we're gonna replace the address with a lot number or introduce
Correct,
a lot.
either
number.
or, we'll double
Yeah.
check with council to confirm, but
Okay.
the intent is the same. So nothing will change that's of any substantive matter before posting the actual warrant, which we hope to do on the 11th.
Okay, so again, the motion to approve the warrant for posting with the amendment as stated by the town administrator for Article 36 to add the $15,000 and Article 10 to check the address and also add the lot number. Does that make sense? Article 10, right?
Article 8.
I'm sorry. Well, whoever makes
I
the
said
motion,
that, so.
make it properly, make the motion properly, so I don't say it wrong again.
And I'll make a motion to post the warrant with the amendments to Article 36 and 8. As previously stated.
Ah, perfect.
I'll second that.
Any further comments? Discussion, are we ready to vote? Okay, all in favor? That's 4 in favor and 1 absent. You can post. Okay,
Fantastic news.
do you have any other agenda items? I don't think so, do you? No, no, right? That was it.
Just if the select board had anything, otherwise I just kept it brief. We'll be meeting on the 14th,
We're
so.
meeting on the 14th, yes.
Mhm.
No, I don't have anything new and exciting to state. Take a motion to adjourn at 5:19
We'll make a motion to adjourn at 5:19
Second that.
PM.
in favor? And that's approved, 4 in favor, 1 absent. We are adjourned.